So we all know that having better clients is more fun. It's more profitable. It's more fun. The question is, how do we identify what makes better clients for us? And then how do we actually set up a system so that we can attract those clients and sell to those clients? And I'm grateful today on the Wealthability Show to have the sales hunter, Mark Hunter, who has written the book on the subject, including The Making of a Mind for Sales. And Mark, it is so good to have you on the show because we all know sales is critical to the success of any business. No business succeeds without it. But this whole idea of having a mindset about the clients seems contrary to a lot of the sales training that goes on. So first of all, would you just give us a little idea of your background and what got you thinking about this idea of better clients?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. Looking forward to a great conversation. You could call me the reluctant salesperson. I didn't want to go into sales. I got out of college, and the last thing I wanted to do was go into sales. Unfortunately, I had messed up my driving record to the point that I could not afford car insurance and a car payment. So I wound up having to get a job that supplied me with a company car, i.e., sales job. Problem was I got fired for my first two sales jobs because I didn't know what I was doing because I was focused on the product. I was focused on really I had commission breath. Yeah, just go ahead and say it. I had commission breath. And it wasn't until my third job that my boss sat me down and said, hold it, hold it. We got to really refocus. Why are you doing what you're doing? You're in sales to help people. Ultimately, it led me to come up with my definition of sales, which is also the definition of a leader. That is to help others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. Think about every listener out there. This is what your objective is. Your objective is to help your clients see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. The challenge is, do we believe it? And that's where the mindset comes into play because the mindset drives everything. Now, here's the whole deal. I don't want to do business with everybody in the free world. I don't care. I want to do business with a very small slice. And this is the same thing with everybody listening. You want to understand what's your lane. What's the lane that you play in and stay in that lane. Because when you stay in that lane, wow, it's amazing how much more confident you are. It's amazing how much more comfortable you are. And it's amazing how you just listen better. You ask different questions and the conversations are so much more robust because you're comfortable with your people. And this is where everybody's got to select your people. And oh, you know what's interesting? Your people tend to be a lot like you because you know what's interesting? We wind up attracting people who are like us. That's why I say when you sell with integrity, you will get clients who have integrity.
Yeah, I love that what you were saying early on there about the job of sales is to actually help people become more successful. I've told people for years, people will come up to me, and I'm a CPA, so people don't think that I would enjoy selling, but people go, well, you seem to like to sell. I said, what you're not understanding is that if you have something that would serve people, you are obligated. You are absolutely obligated to present it in such a way that they can easily buy it, that they can easily say, yes, that's what I want, or that's what I don't want.
Thank you for saying that because you're so spot on. Because I have this firm belief that so many people in our space are afraid to reach out. They're afraid to reach out. And I go, hold it. If I had a problem, and trust me, my kids would tell me I have a lot of problems. And I knew that you, Tom, could help me. I would want you to reach out to me. I would.
Of course.
I'd be upset if I found out later on that you could have helped me and you didn't help me. And that's our approach. Just what you said was so beautiful because if we have the ability to help someone, we owe it to them to reach out to them. To me, that's like
I 100% agree. And then you go to, okay, so, but then you have to go, well, I'm a business owner. Who do I want to serve? So I decided, I spent my early years in big firms, big companies. And I decided, you know what? I really like entrepreneurs. I'm the son, grandson, and great grandson of entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurs, and I'd love to bring high level tax planning, tax strategy to entrepreneurs. So I'm going, that's the kind of person I want to hang around. And so when we start to identify, I think, who we want to be with, somebody asked me, I was on somebody else's podcast earlier, and they said, well, how did you decide that you were going to do, when did you decide to do tax plan? I'm going, that's the whole reason I started my business in the first place. Why would I start something just to make money? That makes no sense to me. Whereas if I have a mission, if there's something that I really want to do, and there's a group of people that I really want to serve, then that's that's going to drive me every day. My question for you, Mark, is how do you identify that in yourself? Because I think for some of us, I mean, I knew, for example, I knew before I left high school that I wanted to go into accounting. Okay. But a lot of people don't know, they're all the way through college and they still don't know what they want to do with their lives. So how do you help people identify who is that client?
Yeah, and 30 years after college, people are still wondering, what is it that I want to do in life? Right, right. So anyway, okay, that's a separate show, separate guest. Anyway, hey, here's the deal. You got to look at what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to do? Now, here's the thing. You can't get your head wrapped around that axle completely, because what you want to do may be I just want to surf. I just want to surf. Okay, it's going to be hard to make money on that unless you're really, really, really good. And even then, I don't even know if you can. But anyway, so you got to kind of mix this up. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to do? It's about people. It's about helping people. If you can have this passion and this commitment to help people, you are well on your way. Now what you do is you then break it down and say, what are the type of people who I want to do business with? And the easiest way for anybody to do this is look at your current list of clients and take your 10 favorite clients, and write their names down on the left-hand side of a piece of paper. And then on the right-hand side, write down what is the objective that they've been able to achieve because of what you've been able to do for them. Have they been able to achieve a level of retirement, or were they able to fund another business? Were they able to do this? Were they able to do this? Did they create a foundation? Whatever it might be, write that down. Then you begin to say, okay, now, where's the commonality? Where's the commonality? Which are the ones on that list really trip my trigger? And then I say, okay, now who are those people? What do they look like? Where else can I find? And you want to create an avatar. You absolutely want to create an avatar. And the tighter people say, well, I'm going to serve anybody who calls me or anybody I can have a conversation with. No, you don't want to do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because there's a lot of people who have a conversation with you, but they'll never become a client. I want to do business with a very tight slice. And the tighter the slice, the more of an expert I can become, because I'm going to understand them and their nuances and their life better, their business, their interests, everything about them much better than somebody who's a broad generalist.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example of that. So when I started my first firm, I'd take anybody, right? But what I found is that it's actually easier to attract people if you're selective.
Yes.
So you actually, not only do you get better clients, but it's easier to bring in those clients because you've identified, look, this is who we're looking for. This is what we can do. And one thing I noticed you were talking about is you're identifying which clients have received the best results from our services. So you're very focused on the outcome. One of the things you were talking about when in your first couple of jobs is that you were focused on the product, not the outcome for the client. And to me, it seems obvious. Why isn't it obvious to everybody that you need to focus on the outcome for the clients? Like in my industry, in the CPA industry, we have all these people that are selling something that nobody wants, tax returns. Okay.
Right.
And then they're giving away something everybody wants, tax planning. I'm going, you have it backwards. You absolutely have it backwards, but they continue to do it. And I'm not quite understanding, why do people focus so much on the, features and benefits instead of focusing on the results for the customer?
Because when you get licensed, you got to take a test on understanding what the product does, what the product can't do. Everything is always around the product. And it is totally backward. We take classes in college. You took accounting classes in college, and it was about the process of accounting. And we don't spend enough time going downstream and understanding what the outcome. Here's something that happens. When I become fixated on the outcomes, when I can become fixated on how I can help you, I get jazzed. I get excited. I get emotionally engaged. And what's interesting is I start asking better questions. One of the very interesting things that I challenge anybody is, it's very easy for, you're a certified CPA, you've done all the things, you've got it, and you go ask clients questions that they can't answer, but you can answer for them because you've studied it, you know it. Wrong. I want to ask the client questions that the client can't answer and I can't answer. Because that forces a conversation. That forces use the example that we charge for the tax preparation, but we don't charge for the planning. We have it backwards. You're right. Yeah. Because what I want to do is I want to ask you questions that, you haven't thought about. And I don't know how you're going to respond. I don't know what your answer is, but it's going to force a conversation. What does that do? That creates a level of value, creates a level of connection. Because if you think about it, everybody out there who offers services, there's always somebody who's going to charge less. There's always somebody who charge less, right? So why do clients work with you if you're not charging less? It's because of something you bring to the table. It's the confidence that you bring. Now, how do you bring that confidence? You bring that confidence because of the conversation that you're having and because you understand that very tight slice of the marketplace that you're zeroed in on. A couple of years ago, I was working with an insurance firm. And one of the challenges that the insurance agents had was they had defined, they said, we only want to work with people who have pickup trucks in the driveway with ladders on top. That was it. That was their slice of business. Because you know what? That's the small business owner. That's the small business service trade person. And this insurance company created a massive book of business by just zeroing in, because these people said, you know what? Nobody understands our business. You do. They were able to sell these people services that they had never thought of, but they needed. They were able to create a level of confidence with their clients that nobody else was ever able to do. So many of them, I would hear conversations back from many of these small business owners, and they say, you know what, I operated without insurance for a long time, and I was always scared something was going to happen. You guys came along and helped me solve that at an affordable rate. That made my business. It allowed me to now focus on growing my business. You see, think about that. Is that a niche of a niche of a niche? Yeah, that's a niche of a niche of a niche. I love it.
Well, they always say a niche will make you rich, right? So
yes.
So to go into that, that niching, and looking at the clients and those kind of that ideal client for you. We always talk about demographics of the client, right? they've got this much income, they live in this location, they have this type of a business, et cetera. Those are demographics. Can you talk for a little bit about the importance of the psychographics, though, about the way they look at things, the way they think about things, the way they respond? Because to me, the demographics, that's easy. That's the easy part. Anybody can identify demographics, but the psychographics, that's what makes it unique to you.
Yes, the psychographics are everything. I'll give you another example. I was working with a high-end automotive company. And again, demographics, people come from X income, da 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 da. But the psychographics, what do they want in their vehicle? What's the experience that they want? And one of the conversation I had is it's not miles per gallon, it's smiles per gallon. That's what they want. And when you connect emotionally, it's amazing. You know, it's interesting. I had a CPA firm I worked with for a number of years. And I stayed with them for years because they understood my business, because they worked with small business owners, service business owners who very much were in the intellectual space. And they understood what my COGS would be, what my cost of goods sold would be. They understood what my marketing expenses would be, because I had been with a firm before, and they attempted to do all this sort of thing. So you're spending way too much on advertising. You're spending way too much. Well, yeah, they were comparing me to a manufacturing company. That's not me. That's not me. You know. And again, when I got with this CPA firm that worked with others like me, man, I felt I was at home. See, you have to get tight. But it's the outcomes. It's the outcomes. It's not, hey, we're going to take care of your quarterly, filings. We're going to take care of this. We're going to do this. We're going to provide this and now. Hold it. Help me. Help me run my business more efficiently. Help me increase my bottom line. You know, I'm not so much in tune with, I'm looking for you to help me with my top line. But man, if you can help me with my bottom line, I'm going with you in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So let's look at that for the average business owner. So how do you determine what the outcome is that a customer wants? I mean, for example, one of the outcomes that is clear in my industry is our clients want peace of mind. That's actually a major outcome. I actually teach people how to never be afraid of the IRS, which to them, that's like, wow. You mean I don't have to worry about an IRS audit. I don't have to, these are the bad guys. They're going to come get me. And so one of the things we identified that the clients do want is one of the outcomes is peace of mind. I want to feel like I don't have to worry and that you've got my back there. How do you, in a typical business, how do you identify what outcome is going to be important to the client, to the customer?
Yeah, let's run with your example. What does peace of mind look like to you? What does that mean? What does that mean to you? Describe that to me.
Well,
see, so I'm going to say, I'm going to get you. You know, you may say, yeah, oh yeah, we provide peace of mind. Oh, that's what I want. That's what I want. Well, what does peace of mind mean to you? And what I found is I want to drill down. So I may be talking with a small business owner, and I'm going to say, hey, what does your company look like 5 years from now? What does it look like 10 years from now? What are the challenges that you've had to overcome to get to this point? Walk me through what you see are your biggest challenge. And I just want to get them talking and them sharing. One of the questions that I love sharing with financial planners, you know, you're sitting down with a couple and say, describe to me what retirement looks like. What does a perfect month of retirement look like to you? And when you get the customer creating that picture, creating that, oh wow, I want to do this. Oh, guess what? Now they're they're beginning to become emotionally attached. See, one of the challenges we have is we've got to get the client, the potential client, be emotionally involved. When they're emotionally involved, it's amazing at what they'll share with you. Because now I got them leaning in. Up to that point, they're leaning back and they're saying, show me, tell me. but I'm just observing. When they start leaning in, oh, now I've got you. And what I find is that I can develop better questions the more I work with this very specific slice of the marketplace. You know, another example, well, two examples. I worked with some professionals who only dealt with NFL players. That was it. They didn't do NBA players. They didn't do Major League Baseball. It was just NFL players because they understood what contracts were like in the NFL. They understood what that was all about, period. And they stayed very specifically. In fact, they even went further because they didn't go with the superstars. They went with the journeyman players, the ones who, you know, they're going to be lucky if they get a contract this year. And it's probably going to be a 1 year contract with this team, 1 year contract. And they had maybe a 4 or 5 year career. But that was their sweet spot. That was their sweet spot. It is so important that you just stay absolutely tight, because then you become knowledgeable, because that now you sit there and say, hey, you know what, I've worked with others just like you. Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's what I call a confirming statement. I always want to have confirming statements, because when I can sit there and say, yeah, I've seen that in others just like you, that I've had the privilege of working with and have helped them navigate through it. Oof. Wow, that makes me feel good. This particular firm, um, their ability to sit there and say, yeah, we've worked with these players, and they would actually say their names, because again, they'd get to release it. They could. Oh yeah, they know them. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, I can connect with you. Stay in your lane, because now what was interesting is that they could sit there and ask questions of these players that players had never thought of before, and it created quite a conversation.
Well, one of the things I'm noticing in when you talk about the questions you ask is the questions are all about them. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually about finding out, what's driving them, what's important to them. The challenge I find, and actually, I actually wrote in my book, Tax Free Wealth. I was asked to write, what questions should you ask an accountant when you're interviewing them? I said, I don't think it matters what questions you ask them. I think all that matters is what questions they ask you, because I'll tell people I can't change your tax situation, but I can sure tell you what you need to do
Mm-hmm.
if I understand your situation.
That's
Okay. But unless I understand your situation, my business is very fact specific. So if I don't understand what's going on, and then I tend to go broader. And so I kind of like to ask you this. I tend to go broader with the clients and say, I want to understand even your relationship with money, your family's relationship with money, your relationship with your family. What are your long-term goals? What are your legacy goals? I mean, just as much focus. And in fact, the very first thing you mentioned that, find out what they're, what does retirement mean to them? The very first exercise we do with a client is take them through an exercise to help them identify their dream and really and delve into their dream, because everything else flows to that. Everything
yeah.
else flows to their dream.
I love what you're saying. Now, here's the thing: you ask them a question, describe their dream. Don't let them off the hook. I want to go 7 levels deep. There's something magical about going 7 levels deep. Here's where I go with this. You say, hey, tell me, what your dream is. And then you ask them, well, hey, can you unpack that a little more? Can you share with me? Then they share with you. Oh, wow, that's fascinating. Go. And that's now 3rd level, 4th level, 5th level. You go 7 levels deep. And what's absolutely amazing is now you've got, oof, you cut to the core. Is there magic about 7? I don't know. I've seen a number of studies on it, and I've been doing it for years. But it's now, you may not do all 7 levels deep on one meeting. No, it might be over a series of a couple of meetings. But that's the magic. This is the magic. I sit down with you and you share with me some information. We don't reach quite a decision yet. to come with my firm. Okay, so we agree a second meeting. I lead off that second meeting with what you shared with me in the first meeting.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's so many people forget that. Again, all I'm doing is then I'm asking, hey, you mentioned that. Wow, that says it. Hey, this person cares. This person actually listened. And then I can begin drilling down further, drilling down further, drilling down further. You see, so many times what happens is we wind up just preaching. Here's what we can do. Here's what we can do. Here's what we can do. And that's the clients leaning back. I want them leaning in. I want them because they get excited sharing with me what their dream looks like. Oh, wow. That's huge. That's cool. That's neat. Yeah.
So how do you get the clients, the customers to be curious um, about what you do? In other words, how do you pull them in to, hey, they do lean in and I want to know more. And wow, can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, because they go, wait a minute. What? I'd rather go to a dentist than deal with somebody like you or something like that. Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing. It starts by asking them questions about them. This is why you stay very, very tight. You stay very, very tight. This insurance firm this insurance broker that was just going after people with pickup trucks with ladders on top. They could ask questions that were very specific, and they go, wow, this person really knows. And they would share. So again, I got to ask questions relevant to them. It's not about me. It's not about what my service. No, who cares? Who cares? I got to get you. I have to treat you, the client, as if you're a bobblehead doll. You know those bobblehead dolls that you tap the head and it moves. And your objective is just to keep that head moving, just to keep that head moving. And when you do that, it's amazing because here's what's so funny. When the client is doing all the talking, they think you're brilliant. They absolutely, right? They think you're brilliant.
Sure.
You haven't said a thing. If you do all the talking, guess what? You have the ability to show them that you're pretty stupid. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then that begs the question. Okay, so you do that and you learn how to do that. How do you train others to do that? How do you train your employees to do that? How do you train your salespeople to do that?
It comes back to what we said earlier. It's having a passion to help people. If you wake up in the morning with your objective to help people, your goal is to help others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. And 3, if I have the ability to help someone, I owe it to them to reach out to them. Problem is, if I reach out to them, they don't necessarily want me. They don't need me. They're probably happy already. So how do I start that conversation? I got to ask them a question or two about them, their business, their world. It has to be totally relevant to them. And then what happens is I'm going to begin to get the conversation going. Now, is it always going to happen? No. I may have to connect with you 5, 10, 15 times. There's a company I'm chasing right now that I'd love to do business with them. I've been chasing them for over 15 months. 15 months. And I reach out to them on a regular basis, but every time I do, it's a different question, it's a different comment, it's something. But again, I firmly believe that I know I can help them. I know I can help them. I'm not going to, they're not falling off my radar screen until either I die or they die, or we do business, period. But that's because I wake up in the morning and I'm committed with helping people.
Well, and to go full circle here, as we start to wrap up, you're committed because these are the people you want to work with in the first place, right? So this is it's the service you want to provide. It's what you're good at, and it's how you can help them, and it's the people you can help. Because you're right, we can't help everybody. I mean, for example, I can't help somebody who doesn't want to learn. If they just want to be spoon-fed, I can't help them because what I do requires their participation. It requires them to learn. And so, I mean, we're different that way. But you have to have that particular person. And it seems like if we identify that person early, then it's somebody, it's a natural conversation. So we don't have to pretend to ask questions about them and care about them, because we actually do care about them, because that's who we care about.
That is so spot on, because again, there's a lot of people out there I could probably help, but it'd be a waste of my time, be a waste of their time. Stay tight. Know who your focus is. That's why I say make that list, look at the outcomes, and then you begin to back yourself up. Who are those people? What drives those people? And then say, those are the people who I want to connect with. And the tighter you create your avatar, the more successful a firm you will have. You know what's also interesting? You wind up flying under the radar screen, and you actually wind up with less competition because you become known in that circle. Think about this. Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Apple, big names. Everybody knows who they are. Can you compete against them? No. But if I get very, very tight with a very small group of people who probably talk amongst themselves, guess what? I can become an expert. That's who I want to be. That's how I create real value.
So I want to finish with this. How do you work with the client in such a way that they will absolutely want to send you referrals? Because of course, that's the easiest way to sell, is to get a referral from a happy client. What is it that makes a customer refer their friends voluntarily to your business?
Yeah, because they care about you. They care about you. And they care about you because you care about them. I had that happen this morning. I had a person send me a text message because I had referred them in to another client. And they did a great job. And they said, Mark, I want to help you out. Yeah. One of the things we have to do, if we want referrals, we have to give referrals. Every week I give 3 referrals. Every week.
I love that.
That's part of my metrics. Every day I have 5 conversations with people. That's 25 conversations a week. And I give 3 referrals a week. And you know what's interesting? I get referrals back. It's absolutely amazing. But here's the whole thing. Don't hesitate to ask for a referral. Don't hesitate. And the easiest way, hey, you know what? It's been a privilege being able to work with you. I just love it. I love the success we've been able to achieve. Who are some others that you know that you think would benefit from the way I've been able to help you? And you just say something like that genuinely, and it's amazing, because sometimes
it all comes back. It all comes back to, I have something that I know can help this group of people. And the people that I can help, probably that are my clients, probably know other people like them, because we hang around people like us, right? So they're the most likely people to find people that actually fit that demographic, psychographic, that client profile, that is that niche that we're going after.
You got it. Spot on. Love it.
So Mark, this has been great. Any final words for our entrepreneurial audience here?
Well, I'll tell you what, we've been talking a lot of things, but it comes down to your mindset. What's your mindset? It's the reason I wrote the book, A Mind for Sales. Because if your mindset's not there, it's amazing. You're just not going to believe in people. You're not going to believe that you can help people. Again, you have to wake up with that belief that you have the ability to help others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. When you have that, man, anything becomes possible. And this afternoon, I'll be making some prospecting calls. I love it. I absolutely love making prospecting to my very tight audience. But I love doing it. And I love doing it every day.
I love it. Thank you, Mark Hunter. The book, again, is The Making of a Mind for Sales, 33 Strategies for Success. It's been a delight having you on. And remember that, when we do focus on the clients, it really is better clients before we get to a better company and a better life. That's what it starts with. But what ends up in the end is we always end up making way more money and paying way less tax. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.